contain the writings of 7 different people, 6 men and 1 woman. And if you are wondering, Luke was a she. Like I say, quite radical, but skillfully argued. Many Christians believe that the Bible is inerrant, meaning that every word in it is incapable of being wrong. I prefer to pick and choose. We had neighbors in Idaho who were among the inerrant group. They studied the Bible conscientiously, prayed often, homeschooled their children, didn't vote or own a television, and the women always wore dresses, and if working outside, they wore bonnets. They also believed that God created the universe about 10,000 years ago, and that he placed every creature on it in their present form at that time. Then Mary and I, liberals to the core, moved in just down the road. We soon met our new neighbors, had many discussions with them about religion, openly acknowledged our difference of views, and developed a warm relationship that continues to this day. Simply put, they love us and we love them. Jesus said it was okay. Other Christians, to put it mildly, are less loving and tolerant. Our introduction to Christian hatred happened about 30 years ago while we were living in Kansas. I really enjoy the music of the Great America Opera, Porgy and Bess. And when we learned it was going to be staged in nearby Topeka, we quickly got tickets and later attended the performance and loved it. Afterward, as we exited the theater, we were dumbfounded to find ourselves outside, surrounded by floodlights, reporters, film crews, police, people marching, people waving placards in our faces, and people screaming obscenities. It was mayhem. And the placards they carried said things like, and excuse me here, God hates fags, and fags rot in hell, and worse. It turned out that the protesters were members of the local Westboro Baptist Church. You may have heard of them. According to news reports, they believed that one or more of the New York performers was gay. These so-called Christians were, and still are, a hyper-Calvinistic hate group. And they're not just homophobic. Jews, Muslims, transgender people, and numerous other Christian denominations also get picketed and insulted. They even picketed the bodies of military people being brought home for burial. Hate and fear keep close company, and it seems to me there are some people who call themselves Christians who either didn't read, don't understand, or don't buy in to the teachings of Christ. As stated earlier, I read many books about religion. One of my most recent is titled Christians Against Christians, subtitled How Right-Wing Evangelicals Are Destroying Our Nation and Our Faith. The author, Aubrey Hendricks, is a black religious scholar, and his book was published by our very own Beacon Press. Hendricks makes convincing arguments that the attitudes and legislative efforts of right-wing evangelicals make a mockery of the gospel of Jesus Christ. My favorite chapter in the book is titled, Thou Shalt Not Murder. the unholy alliance between right-wing evangelicals and the National Rifle Association. As those of you who may remember my earlier discourse on God, guns, and country, you can understand why this chapter resonated with me. And reading the news and hearing the news yesterday about 10 people shot to death in Buffalo, New York, made me even think about it more deeply. As you all know, the New Testament ends with the book of Revelation, supposedly written by someone named John. It contains prophetic descriptions of plagues, warfare, bloodshed, and the coming of the last days. God is described as vengeful and murderous, like in verse 9:15, where 4 angels are released to kill 1/3 of humankind by plagues of fire, smoke, and brimstone. The Bible gives no indication of whether this 1/3 will be sinners or saints. Just a random selection, evidently. Mass murder, it seems, directed by the same God who provided the 10 Commandments to Moses, one of which said, "Thou shalt not kill," or murder, take your choice. Revelation was one of the last books accepted as scripture, and some churches still ignore or reject it. The Bible, although inspiring to many, has created conflict among Christians ever since it was codified near the end of the 5th century. What began as the Roman Catholic Church was followed by formation of the Eastern Orthodox Church, followed by schisms among Catholics, and then by the Protestant Reformation, which swept through Europe in the 1500s. And true to the roots of their names, Protestants protest amongst themselves. The internet tells me, for example, that there are now 245 Baptist denominations in 128 countries, and unfortunately one of them is the Westboro Baptist Church. Overall, there are about 34,000 Christian denominations worldwide. So, which is the one true church? Well, I think the answer is that about 34,000 of them view themselves as the true church. So, another question, if Christians read the Bible to strengthen their beliefs, what should atheists read to strengthen theirs? Answer, the same. And how does the Unitarian Universalist Association view the Bible? As you might expect, there is no official position. Instead, there are many ministerial opinions, as shown in a UUA pamphlet titled Unitarian Universalist Views of the Bible. One of my favorites contains this statement, quote, "Unitarian Universalism has been influenced and will continue to be influenced by the Bible. UU congregations that seek a vital, relevant, liberal religious voice will read, study, interpret, and invoke the Bible with honesty and integrity, with a soft heart and a hard head. This is our heritage. This is our calling." I love the advice for UUs to view the Bible with a soft heart and a hard head. Moving on, one thing that seems to unite all the UUs I know is that they reject dogma. We insist on being able to think for ourselves, to find our own path using our hard heads. And watch out, because as the saying goes, my dogma will run over, I'm sorry, my karma will run over your dogma. You all know it. And now I will present my modest proposal for upgrading the Bible. Excuse me. I do this in the spirit of Thomas Jefferson, who used scissors and glue on the four Gospels to create his own version, which he titled The Life and Morals of Jesus of Nazareth. As a product of the Age of Enlightenment, Jefferson edited by subtraction, and he removed all of the gospel miracles, including the virgin birth and the resurrection. In creating my modest proposal, I also kept in mind the instruction given by Hippocrates to physicians to first do no harm while treating patients. Here's what I think is needed. Step 1. Eliminate the first 19 chapters of Genesis. Doing this would allow the use of science rather than myth and superstition to explain creation and evolution. It would also remove God's directive for people to be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth, which is now seriously overpopulated. It would remove his authorization giving dominion over every living thing that moves upon the earth, whether or not they are endangered. It would eliminate the original sin concept, and it would remove the homophobic story of Sodom and Gomorrah. I believe that each of these myths have done harm and deserve to be eliminated. Step 2. I propose eliminating the entire book of Revelation. It encourages people who believe the end is near to act out of fear and to do reckless things, and it seems totally out of place in a New Testament which is otherwise focused on love and salvation. In addition, the prophecy is just plain ugly and depressing. So, I say bye-bye to Revelation. There you have my modest proposal, which of course provides yet another justification for having me burned at the stake. I will close by quoting what I find to be a very appealing metaphor from the Reformed Jewish prayer book. It goes like this, quote, "A leaf drops to the ground, but it nourishes the soil so that more plants and trees can spring up. The same is true of our lives. We nourish the future through the influence we have on those who will follow us. It can happen in unimaginable ways." End of quote. Those last two sentences are both inspiring and intimidating at the same time, aren't they? We nourish the future through the influence we have on those who follow us. It can happen in unimaginable ways. I am done. Thank you for being here. Namaste.
I just asked Al if he would send me a copy of his sermon so that we can maybe study all the wonderful insights on our own time. Thank you, Al. At this time, let us sing 168, One More Step. Please rise as you are able.
One take one more step till there is peace for us, and everyone will take one more step. One more word, we will say one more word, till every word is heard by everyone. We'll say one more word. One more prayer, we will say one more prayer, till every prayer is shared by everyone. We'll say one more prayer. One more song, we will sing one more song, till every song is sung by everyone. We'll sing one more song.
Our closing words are by Theodore Parker. Be ours a religion which, like sunshine, goes everywhere. Its temple, all space. Its shrine, the good heart. Its creed, all truth. Its ritual, works of love. Its profession of faith, divine living. Join us in singing Go Lift It Up. Blessed be. Join us in conversation and coffee. Well done, my dear. Well done.